Hi, Jason. It's so wonderful to meet you. I am such a big fan. I know a lot of our readers are big fans as well. And I want to get right to the interview. Now, my first question, Jason, is I know you were born to a very successful and prominent real estate family in Los Angeles. Now, when did you personally realize your own passion for real estate?
I think I got it from my parents, when I was pretty young. I didn't really follow that passion until after, a career in law, but I think I'd always been generally interested because my dad was a real estate agent, and I remember him doing open houses and showing and selling properties in Fremont, California. So I think that was probably my first taste when I was just a young kid. And then, I think when I decided in my life that it was time to follow my passion, I got back into it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, now, how were you able to unite such a talented team for your brokerage? And what are some of the tips that you have for other people that want to unite a powerful team together for their business?
Well, it's a good question. For me, I don't know if this works for everyone else because I've heard that working with family and friends, for many people doesn't work out. So I don't know if this is really a kind of an omnibus recommendation for people. For myself, I hired my best friends, and people that I loved and love and trust and respect. And I think those are the types of people that I wanted to be around during the day.
Yeah.
And I kind of put more of a belief, I think, in the person and the potential than I did necessarily. And I think in the environment than I did just, I don't think I've ever really focused. And again, I don't recommend this for other people, but I didn't really focus on making business decisions all that often. I focus on quality of life decisions, and those ended up working out for me. But like I said, we have a very kind of unique circumstance out here, and I don't know if that's necessarily a model to follow.
Well, I love the focus on quality of life, and that certainly comes across in your show. The quality of life is amazing and captivates so many people across the country to keep viewing the show. So congratulations on that. Now, Jason, how did the pandemic, in your opinion, affect the luxury real estate market?
I think real estate is one of those things that just perseveres. It has its ups and downs, and it had, I think we hit a hard pause for a few months during the lockdown. Maybe I think that was 2020, maybe. It seems like a lifetime ago now, but I'd say March to August of that year, it was pretty dead. But, then all you do is have pent up demand that comes back into the marketplace. I mean, the bottom line is with real estate, there's actual need. It's not like stocks or Bitcoin or where you don't need those things. I mean, people need to live in a house. They need to expand. They have a family. They need to move. So, yeah, I think real estate is one of those kind of fundamental assets and investments where it's really going to, despite the ups and downs, it's always going to, I think, have a general trend upwards. And it's really hard to keep real estate down. You can do it in the short term, but, it's like a bubble in water. I mean, it just finds its way back up.
Yes, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Now, the appreciation, especially here in Southern California, has been, so record breaking since the pandemic. What do you foresee for 2022?
It's such a tough question. I think about it a lot. Really, the main benefactors, geographic benefactors of the post-pandemic, United States have been outside of big cities. So examples in Southern California would be maybe Newport Beach and Montecito and Santa Barbara and Malibu, really kind of people moving outside of the more densely populated areas, or the valley for that matter, and focusing on a little bit more land, kind of a larger home because they're spending more time in the house. And then if you look at the United States, I'd say you'd see areas like Utah, Wyoming, Florida, Arizona, Texas that have really been the largest benefactors of the post-pandemic era. And I would say not so much places like New York, LA, major metropolitan areas. I think it's too soon for us to see people coming back to those major dense areas because they got hit LA specifically, the crime is out of control. And I think homelessness is become even a more serious problem. And then there are tax issues, I think, that are kind of playing a part in the exodus that I'm seeing in some of my clients. And there's also a lot of people who've made a lot of money in stocks and cryptocurrency who are deciding to move to a state that doesn't have a high state tax before they sell. And that makes sense to me. I think we will see, and I think it's too early to see it in 2022, but I do think, moving forward, 2022, 2023, 2024, I think that we will see people returning to the big cities. And I think that those areas that have seen that huge boom will probably see that they will kind of come down a little bit, because I think that the general trend is the densely populated metropolitan areas are probably always going to be the best investment. But I think, again, the pandemic kind of put a wrinkle in that, but I think that wrinkle will be ironed out over the next couple of years. And I do think that these large cities will eventually get a handle on the homeless problem and the crime problem. And I think there'll be a sense of normalcy soon. And then the other thing too, I think that these mandates and, the government intervention, I think, is pushing people out of some of these certain states. And I think that as we kind of round the corner and return to a normalcy of accepting, wherever COVID's going to play in our lives, I think that we'll see that you won't have the disparity between different states as much as you do now. Florida is a bastion for people who want to kind of not have government intervention and mandates. And I think you'll see an equilibrium in the next year or two as therapeutics come out and what have you.
Okay, wonderful. Very interesting and wonderful insight, may I add, Jason. Wonderful insight on the national economy. Now tell us a bit about Selling Sunset, which is such a fun and wonderful behind the scenes show. What is your goal? Was it your goal to have a hit show, or did Selling Sunset just kind of magically happen for you?
Since I was a kid, I wanted to be a huge reality star. No, I'm totally kidding. Don't ever say that. No, truth is, I can't watch reality TV if my life depended on it. It's just not my bag. And I had no interest in being on reality TV or being a part of a reality TV show. And, I'd been approached quite often, because we had a lot of beautiful people in the office. We have a sexy office, we're doing luxury real estate on the Sunset Strip.
Yes.
But we really were kind of risk averse in that area. And then things just changed with when Adam approached us. And listen, anyone who tells you that we thought we were going to have a hit, a show this big is full of shit. This is a surprise to all of us. I think we're taking it for what it is. I think we're enjoying it. It's funny. I was talking to Mary last night, and I was saying, the most fun thing about this, and probably the thing that makes it fun, is that we're doing it together. And so it's almost normalizes it because much of my world are my friends, and most of my friends are on this show, and it's just quite interesting to experience this, going through this with them and to seeing their success. And that for me is what makes it really fun.
Yes, yeah.
And that's probably why I'm still doing it, to be honest.
Because you love the fact that others enjoy it so much and they've really become even more successful due to the show.
Yeah, I think it's always fun to experience something with someone. And if you can experience something like this with your best friends and also experience their success, I mean, that's kind of as good as it gets.
Yeah.
So I think that's really because I don't have much of an interest in being on TV or the publicity that comes with that. But I love enjoying life with my friends and seeing their success. So that I think that's a huge motivator for me.
Absolutely. It's all about the why, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get to a certain point when, and I've always been someone who values quality of life. So, I'm going to make decisions right now at this point in my life that for me to be happy. And right now, this show makes me happy because it makes, it's a great experience with everyone. And it's kind of like a why not? This show will die out at some point, and I don't see any reason why we don't enjoy it while it lasts.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And it's so fun to watch and to keep up with the show. Now, can you drop, speaking about the show, can you drop maybe a few hints on what we can expect on season 5?
I can't really. I will say that I am looking forward to season 5 probably more than any other season. I think it's very layered, and I think there's, for me, and it's hard for me to differentiate and remember some things, but I'm looking forward to this season more than any other. I think that there's a lot of depth and layer in season 5, and I think it's real. I think it's going to be our best season. So I'm definitely excited about it, but I won't get into any details.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well,
sorry, I'm on my way to the gym, so I don't normally adjust.
No problem. No problem. I'm almost done, and this is fantastic.
Oh, no rush. I wasn't saying that to rush you, just to excuse my sleeveless sweater.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. You look fantastic, by the way, so no worries.
I was also going for a compliment, so thank you.
Awesome. Now, let's see, your luxury brokerage, the Oppenheim Group, was expanded and has expanded into Malibu, and now also.
No, not Malibu. Sorry, my second office is Newport Beach, which is
Newport Beach. Okay.
I'm in Newport Beach right now, actually.
Okay, Newport Beach.
Yeah, so that's our second office, and we are going to be building out a third office in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Out of California.
Yeah, Las Vegas is a place that is having a burgeoning luxury market. A lot of people are moving there. There's a huge confluence between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. I had a client today call me saying he wants to move to Las Vegas from Newport Beach, actually. So there's a lot of reasons to go there. I enjoy it. And I can get there in 2 hours door to door. Mm-hmm. So I can really be there and be on the ground and manage the office.
Wonderful. So Vegas is really experiencing a surge in luxury.
If you want to talk about a beneficiary of the post-pandemic real estate market, I'd say Las Vegas is your best example, quite honestly.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations on that. That is so exciting.
Thank you. I am excited.
Yes. Now, Jason, what are some of the misconceptions that people may have of you, or something that maybe you'd like to share with our readers to, let people know more about who you really are?
I'm not so sure people's conceptions of me because I don't read it much. I don't know what people's conceptions are. I would probably have to defer to them being rather accurate. I think I'm shown on the show as myself. So I think that it's probably, I don't know if there are misconceptions. And again, I wouldn't know if there were.
Okay, wonderful. Well, let's see. Please share with us about some of the most rewarding and stressful aspects of your career? Because on, watching it on TV, everything looks so dazzling and fun, but I know it's a stressful business and a stressful industry.
You know, I used to get stressed out a lot more, but I don't so much now. I'm really I've gotten to a place where I think I'm much more capable of managing stresses and speed bumps and hurdles. So I don't get stressed that much. I used to get stressed out a lot.
Yeah.
I think I've come a long way in the last couple of years. So, I think I'm happier, and everything has an answer. So I think it's really how you approach it. And I'm not sure that stress is something that helps me approaching, some type of problem. So I try to stay calm, and I think that keeps other people calm. And, I think I was raised that there's always a way and there's always an answer. So I just try to calmly approach every situation, measured, and I figure out the best approach forward. And quite honestly, it's very rare that there's no way through a problem where most problems are a combination of, psychology and ego and expectations, mixed with, I think, actual financial, geographic, structural, actual problems. And I think that if you can go in there managing the person and the problem with a measured, thoughtful and creative approach, then, there's really not much that I think can go wrong.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm sure the working out really helps with let out some steam as well. And
yeah,
like
I think that's part of balance.
yes, absolutely. That totally makes sense. And what are the most touching things? Well, one of the most touching things that I read about your bio is the fact that your great great grandfather, Jacob Stern, was such an influential real estate entrepreneur in the early 20th century, especially in the entertainment arena. Your family was quite influential. Now, how does that make you feel knowing your history and the fact that you have such a hit show now on Netflix?
Yes, the family history is interesting because it's my mom's side of the family, and there was a big disconnect when I was growing up because that never really came down to my parents. So when I got into real estate, I wasn't able to rely on that history. I mean, that was really more 100 years ago, and so I think as I've achieved some success in real estate, I've kind of tried to revitalize that connection because I do believe that there's something about real estate being in our blood, in my family's blood, and around for so long.
Yes.
But I can't pretend that there's a real connection there because I think I never met my great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather. And I think a lot of what they did in Hollywood, unfortunately, I don't know really much of what happened to it, but it never really made it to my parents. So it's interesting from a historic perspective, but I think from a practical perspective, it's less so.
Did your degree in law, I'm sure that really gave you an edge in the world of brokering and having your own agency as
Probably
well.
one of the things that I think helped me the most was my law degree and my practice as an attorney. I think that really allowed me to instill confidence in my clients.
Yes, absolutely.
And I look for that in agents. I've got a couple of attorney agents, and I can't imagine a better pedigree for real estate than a law degree.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, operating a successful brokerage is certainly not easy, and I'm sure there are many challenges that fascinate your fans across the country. Now, what are some of the ways that you do handle negativity when it does reach the office, or maybe there's some problems in the office? How do you de-escalate that?
I used to think that everything was a big deal. And I think that I have a perspective now where I've dealt with enough that I see that things generally work themselves out. And it's the rare thing that is a big deal 3 months or 6 months later. So I think I just remind myself that not to get worked up and that things will generally work themselves out, and just again try to take a more calming approach. Try to provide some perspective to whoever it is that is going through the problem, because problems feel real and feel big at the time, and it's very hard to kind of attribute some type of perspective to problems in real time. So I think that's, if I were to say one thing that I try to do, it's that.
Mhm. Wonderful advice. Thank you for that. Now, let's talk a little bit about luxury flipping in Southern California. Are you seeing a lot of successful flips in the multi-million dollar home range?
Those are difficult. I always am on the lookout for a luxury purchase that I think makes sense. But I would say, I'd maybe find one a year that I think, maybe one or two a year that I think are legitimate candidates, in terms of, there's some real money to be made. Generally, I like to look for a property that isn't, that is dated to some degree. And that could just be 10 years old. And stylistically, something that would stand the test of time. So you don't need to do a massive remodel. I always like to focus on scale and land, so nice ceilings, good floor plan, good size. And then, I look for something that could be revamped with a light remodel, as opposed to something that needs to be just torn through. And, but I think nothing new to people to focus on location and land as the two most important things. And I don't always think that flipping is the best idea. There's a lot of tax advantages to owning a home. So I generally recommend, including to my agents, they buy something, they get a great long-term fixed interest rate right now, which is, interest rates are historically low, fix it up and rent it out, and maybe they hold it for 10 or 20 years. I mean, that's how you accumulate wealth, through leverage, not through flipping. And I think that a lot of people try to flip a house without doing it in scale, like they just a one-off. And I think that's dangerous, because I think it might cost the average person twice as much as it would cost, a known entity developer. So I generally think people should plan on holding.
I love holding. I agree. It's the long-term wealth that really makes a difference. And wonderful advice. Now, do you have any suggestions, Jason, for new agents, new brokers? How can they set themselves apart?
Come here, Polly. I'll introduce you to one of my new agents in the Orange County office.
Hello, how are you?
At the same time.
Hi, how are you? Welcome.
Good. I like your necklace.
Thank you. We're doing an awesome interview with Jason, so I'm really excited about it. And this is perfect, because one of the questions was, how can new agents, new brokers set themselves apart?
Any ideas?
Oh, that's a great question. Joining the Oppenheim Group sets me apart from everyone else, which, that gets a lot of attention. People really love, the brand and the brokerage. They know all about our, elevated.
Well, that's but I want to actually follow up on that, because I don't think it's practical that everyone join the Oppenheim Group. But I do think that joining a brokerage that is consistent with what, your personality. So maybe you like to be lost in the shuffle. You join a huge brokerage. You want to work more hand in hand with somebody. You can join a smaller brokerage. But I think Yes, brokerage is important, but I think who you actually work with is most important. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a. And
I
then
mean, that for me is, that sets me apart from other new agents, because I'm also a new agent as well. So yeah, this is my first experience of a brokerage, which is.
And then you know what Paulie's done too is I think, as well as many of the other people here, is we have an environment here where everyone works together. So I think people enjoy coming to the office more, enjoy working more. So I think that's something that people should focus on, is less so about the brokerage, more so about the people that you work with.
And the culture and we're like a big family here, and it's been really welcoming. Everyone's really getting on with everyone for the most part.
That's awesome. Well, it certainly shows. I mean, it does. The people on the show do look like a family, and there's a wonderful dynamic that comes across. So yeah, that's very evident from watching the show.
And we're filming another show called Selling the OC about this office down here. I'm sure you're aware.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait for that as well. That sounds amazing. Now, let's
get back to work. But lovely to meet you.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations. Best of luck. Now, Jason, almost done. We just have a couple more questions. What are some of your pastimes, hobbies? How do you unwind from it all?
I mean, most of my time, I probably just spend at night watching Netflix. That's pretty much my chill time with my dogs. That is about as good as it gets for me. But I like going out. I like once a week. I like to go out on the town, dinner and out. And then I have hobbies, like I like to collect vintage football and baseball and soccer cards. So I do a lot of that. I just like. What else do I like? Sports. I love watching sports. The Washington football team and the Golden State Warriors. So between hanging out with my friends, which I do all the time, like we're doing poker night tomorrow, and we'll probably go out on the town on Friday or Saturday. And then, with that, sports and my little hobbies and work, expanding the brokerage, I stay and hanging out with my little kiddos. I stay pretty busy. Let me show you little Zelly. Hi, Zelly.
Hello.
Hi, baby.
There she is.
Hi, girl. How's my girl?
So cute. Awesome. And is there anything that you would like to add, Jason, that maybe I didn't touch upon or perhaps I missed that you'd like to share?
I think you got a lot of it. I never know what to recommend people adding in terms of questions. So, and I just lost you somehow. Hold on. Oh, I got you.
Here. Yes.
No, I think you asked some great questions. So hopefully it's of interest to people, and I appreciate your interest.
Oh, of course. I'm really excited. So now, did you say you are having Selling OC2, that show as well?
Yeah.
When is that going to be happening?
We're still filming. We started filming recently. I'd say we've got, a good couple more months of filming. So sometime in 2022, I would imagine, maybe this summer, but I'm not sure. That's a Netflix decision, and they don't involve me in those.
That's awesome. Well, Jason, congratulations on your continued enormous success, not only on the Netflix show, but also with your brokerage, and for having such an amazing balance in life. I mean, you know what? There's so many successful people out there, but a lot of them aren't balanced or not, tranquil, and you just exude so much peace and, genuine tranquility. So congratulations.
I'm going to be so proud. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you again for everything.